And welcome everybody to another edition of the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host Kenneth Grunfelder, and it's great to have you guys here on this Friday, June 28th. We have a lot to talk about on the show today. Before I get into that, just want to remind you guys, as always, to tip or donate, get your comments recognized, make sure to go to the following link. That is GSMCPodcast.net. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is GSMCPodcast.net. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker at the bottom of the show segment down below. So, let's get into what we are going to talk about for today. So, we're going to start off the show. We're going to talk about the lawsuit against the NFL involving the Sunday ticket package. So, I wanted to get into that because that actually has really been making news. And I've kind of been seeing news on it. But I haven't really touched upon it, but there was a verdict, so I wanted to get into that and give you my thoughts on it, so we'll talk about it. Then in the second part of the show, I will continue my schedule breakdowns. Today, we will be covering the Tennessee Titans schedule, and that'll be the final schedule breakdown of the AFC South. And then we have one more division, which I will get into when I get back from vacation, because I will not be here next week. Then in the third part of the show, I'll talk about some comments made by Greg Olsen, talking about the 49ers and how he still thinks, they're the class of the NFC, they're the team to beat. And I know that's something that I've kind of talked about, throughout the offseason here, but I just wanted to get into what he had to say, and I'll talk about the teams that have the best chance of knocking off the 49ers. And then moving on to the fourth part of the show, we'll get into, some comments made by Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman on Gerard Mayo as the head coach of the Patriots. So we'll talk about what they had to say. And then we'll get into what the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars had to say about the collapse last season. So I wanted to get into what he had to say, Shad Khan. So we'll get into that as well. So let's get into the first topic, which is talking about the lawsuit against the NFL over the Sunday ticket. So there was a verdict on that. So the NFL has been ordered to pay $4.7 billion in residential class damages and $96 million in commercial class damages. And the reason for that, the lawsuit argued that the NFL, its teams, and its network partners violated antitrust rules by limiting competition and inflating the price of the Sunday ticket. And I watched, a video with Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk, and he kind of just said how, the NFL made it the price the way it is so less people would buy the product, and they would stay with watching, and they would just go to, Fox, CBS to watch whatever game is on. And I thought that was interesting. So This lawsuit actually was filed all the way back in 2015 by San Francisco's The Mucky Duck Sports Bar. It claimed DirecTV, CBS, ESPN, and Fox suppressed competition through exclusive agreements with the NFL. DirecTV held the exclusive Sunday ticket package from 1994 to 2022. And these damages, the NFL could actually have to pay $12 billion, so it would be tripled. Now, the NFL is going to appeal this, so it's not like this is going to happen right now. But, this was a big deal, so I just wanted to touch upon it. And, we still got a long way to go with this. The NFL was kind of disappointed by the ruling. You had Roger Goodell testifying, Jerry Jones, I think Robert Kraft as well. So, this is kind of a big deal. And, like I said, this is going to be ongoing. But, like I said, if it ends up ruling in favor of, the businesses and the subscribers, the NFL is going to have to pay a lot of money. So, it's something that's going to continue. It's going to be ongoing. This is something that's not going to end yet, because this is going to keep going through the courts, and maybe it ends up in the Supreme Court. But I just thought it was interesting, and just a lot of the complaints are, the price is about, I think it's $400. Well, it's more than that. It's a little more than $400 to get the whole package. But, people are talking about how they want to just get their own team. and just be able to buy to subscribe to their own team and just be able to watch their team without having to pay for the entire package. Like if you're, a Packers fan and you live in Pittsburgh, you just want to get Packers games. For me, like, I'd want to get the whole package. I mean, I think, $400 or whatever the price is, it's a little too much for me. So I wouldn't, pay for that. Because what I did was when I was a student, I would just get, the student discount, and you just pay, $100 for the whole season. Like that I could do, but $400 for me, I don't think I want to do that. But I understand people's frustrations over it because, yeah, you just want to watch your team if you're not able to get them, in your local area. Now, for me, being in New York, the New York teams have not been great over the last, for a while. I shouldn't say last several years. They haven't been good for a while. The Giants, had a couple years where they made the playoffs, but, we haven't seen good football from them, and same thing with the Jets. So for me, it's always hard when, the last couple years, how I watch the games has been a little different, but, I'm not trying to watch the Giants or the Jets. I was not really home during the regular season of football. I was, elsewhere. I was at work during the games. So, there was a couple weeks. Well, there was 1 week when I was home, and the Jets were playing the Falcons, and I chose to watch Red Zone instead. Because I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and watch this whole game. And it was that game that was in the rain, and the Falcon. It was a low-scoring game. Like, I just sat there and watched Red Zone. And, it's just, but I didn't buy the Sunday ticket this year. And, it switched over from DirecTV to YouTube TV. But I just think it's interesting that, there's that, they're thinking that allegedly the NFL is conspiring with its, TV partners, it seems. So they're upping the price on the Sunday ticket, so you're forced to watch the games that are on your local stations. I don't know how true that is. It could be true, it could be not. But, because if you're going to watch the Sunday ticket, yeah, you're losing some viewers there. So, these partnerships have been going on for years. And, the Sunday ticket, is a way to, maybe I don't want to watch the games that are on the local channels. I want to watch a game that I actually want to see. Like, there's going to be games on in, the early window that maybe you're not going to be able to watch because, you got to watch the teams that are in your local area. And, that's why you want to go to the Sunday ticket so you can watch those games. And, people are talking about, different ways of, being able to, like I said, get your team, be able to watch them, or, buy the rights to, like, several teams. I know when I was listening to what they had to say on the Michael Kay show, they were saying, like, oh, you can maybe get the rights to maybe, like, a whole division or something. Because for me, like, unless the Giants are good this year, I could live without watching them every Sunday. I'd be fine with, if the Chiefs are playing early, watch them. The Texans are on, the Packers, like some of these teams that, that are going to be good. You want to watch those teams. Like I don't want to, like, no offense to my team, but I just don't think my team is going to be very good this year. So I would much rather watch, better football than, my team each week. But that's my thoughts on the matter. But yeah, this is something that is going to continue. This is not over yet. We got a long way to go with this. But yeah, it's a lot of money for this package. And that would be a huge dent in the, well, I don't know if I want to say it's a huge dent, but it's going to be some sort of dent in the NFL's wallet if they're forced to pay not just 4.7 but triple that to 12 million. So, we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. But it is interesting. Again, for me, I think like $400, $400+ for the entire package is a lot. But I know when I was listening to the Michael K show, Michael K's like $400. Yeah, that's doable. I'm like, for me, I'm not paying for that. I was paying $100 for the student discount when I was still going to school. Like that is fine with me. But yeah, I mean, for that much, it's not worth it. But that's why you could always fall back on, because like I said, when I was home for one of the regular season games or one of the regular season weeks, when the Jets were playing the Falcons, I just turned on Red Zone. Now I do like to consume an entire game. You know, I mean no, I do love Red Zone, but I do like watching an entire game. And with Red Zone, you don't do that. It's a lot of, jumping around, which is why it's so great. But that's just my opinion. But I think when people get the whole package, you get it because, well, one of the main reasons is for fantasy and gambling and all that, which I do agree. That was one of the reasons why, I got the Sunday ticket when I was still in school. It's because of fantasy. You want to see how your players are doing. I mean, the delay was really bad, though, because, like, that's why you had to stay off your phone, because you'd see what your player does before it actually happens. But yeah, I would agree that is one of the reasons why I would get the Sunday ticket. But now I'm not getting it because the price is just, for me, it's too much. But I mean, maybe in the future, I'll do it, but right now, no. But like I said, the NFL is going to appeal. They're not happy with the ruling. So this is not, the NFL doesn't have to pay anything yet. We'll see. We got a long way to go. But I had no idea that, I'll be honest, I really didn't know that this all started back in 2015 with a sports bar. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the verdict. How do you see this all playing out? It's interesting. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. But I just thought it was something that I would talk about. I know it's lawsuits and things like that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm an expert with all of this, but I think I got the gist of it. So I just thought it was something interesting to cover today. So we're going to take our first break of the show, and then when we come back, we will talk about the Tennessee Titans schedule. I'll give you my early win-loss predictions for them. So stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.